first speaker is Julia Moore. Julia is a communications major with an emphasis in video production. She is originally from Southern California and loves all things sunny and warm. Julia and her husband enjoy playing board games and spending time at the park. Let's give it up for Julia.
So a few weeks ago, I was watching a video from this lady named Lindsay McKees, and she was sharing her experience of her first birth. She, at the time, was 21 years old and an ER nurse, and so she was very familiar with the hospital. She was induced for no other reason than her due date was the following day. And she had wanted a natural birth with low medical intervention, but she felt that as soon as she was at the hospital, she was bulldozed with all the interventions. Like I mentioned, she was induced for no other reason than her due date was the following day. She was given a synthetic hormone that induces labor, Pitocin. She was hooked up to internal monitors. Her water was broken. That probably all sounds normal to you, right? After 18 hours of being in labor, the doctor came in and said, well, we can continue like this throughout the night, or you can have your baby within the next hour if you want to get a C-section. She looked at both her mother and mother-in-law who had both gotten C-sections, and they were like, why wouldn't you get a C-section? So she went through with that, and she got a C-section, and she said that it was the most excruciating pain she had ever felt. She had felt the entire thing. As soon as her baby was out of her, she was begging for general anesthesia. Upon reflecting on that experience, Lindsay said that wasn't how that experience was supposed to go. She felt that her baby was ripped from her, and that transition from maiden to mother was robbed from her. Lindsay went on to become a midwife so she could help women not experience what she had to go through. Hospital births aren't the only option. We live in a very family-oriented community, and we value big families, so chances are you or your future spouse will experience birth. Guys, don't tune out because this is important for your future spouse and your loved ones. I want to be a mother one day, so to better prepare and plan for that time, I've done a lot of research and studying. I want to be fully informed about the choices that I'm making throughout the process. There is a place and a time for a hospital, but birth is a natural, normal process, much like breathing. Your body just knows what to do, and most of the time, intervention isn't needed. There are many interventions for low-risk pregnancies and low-risk births. Some of these include early inductions, women getting hooked up to IV fluids, contraction monitors, blood samples, cervical exams, and epidurals. This can potentially lead to discomfort in both the mother and the baby. In the March of Dimes Perinatal Data Center, in the United States in 2021, 32% of live births were C-sections. 50 years ago, 1 out of 50 births were live C-sections, and today it's 1 out of 3. There's a connection between interventions and the increasing number of C-sections. Erin Wilkins, a trained RN, she shared her experience as an RN that it's great when intervention is needed and we have skilled nurses and OBGYNs who are prepared and skilled for surgeries, but most of the time that isn't the case and it's not needed. Erin shares that birth is just one of those processes that generally goes better when we leave it untouched. There are women who get induced early and they get an epidural and their body and baby handle it fine and things go smoothly. But in Erin's case, that is the exception and not the norm. When giving birth in a hospital, there are many strict regimens and procedures that may be necessary for a hospital but aren't necessary for a woman giving birth. One of these limitations is birthing positions. A very common practice is for a woman to lay on her back to give birth so that the doctor can better see what's going on and the doctor's in control. But the doctor is in control and not the woman giving birth. This is one of the worst positions to give birth in. And on the other hand, giving birth in an upright position, there's a lot more benefits. And it's evidence-based birth says that it shortens labor when you give birth in an upright position. It lowers the risk of C-section. It increases blood flow, it's less painful, and the baby can get in a better position to pass through the pelvis. You're essentially letting gravity do its thing. We've all heard of a mom being in labor for 18 hours or over 48 hours. Labor can be long, and the baby is ready to come when it's ready. But the hospital is not a waiting room. And a lot of these long labors can lead women to feel pressured to get these interventions. I know I'd be worried about when to come in when many times in a hospital they say, wait as long as possible before you come in. So you're not in there for over 12 hours. I'd be thinking, well, when do I come in? Is now the time? Am I ready now? This can lead to increased discomfort for the pregnant woman, as well as a overall negative birthing experience. Now, my intention today is not to share with you that hospitals are scary or doctors are bad, because we all know that modern medicine has saved lives in childbirth. My intention is not to share with you that all women should give birth naturally, because I believe that women have a choice. My intention today is to share with you an alternative approach. I shared with you the story of Lindsay, who had her traumatic first birth experience. And so when she was pregnant with her second child, she did a lot of research, and she opted to do a home birth. She wanted to have more of a say in her birthing experience. So Lindsay gave birth in her hot tub under the stars on a warm summer's night. It's exactly what she had dreamt and hoped for. I believe we should be encouraging women to be active participants in their birth experience. There are many benefits of home birth for low-risk pregnancies. You can be in a peaceful environment of your own home, and it can be very comfortable. My sister-in-law has had 4 home births, and when I've talked to her and asked her about it and asked, why did you get a home birth? Why did you want to do that? She said that she wanted to be in the comfort of her own home, have her own shower, her own bed. It was flexible. She wanted a say in her birthing experience. Labor is a natural process, and every woman's experience is different. Many women have really long labors, and that's okay. They can be at home with ease and not feel rushed. This can provide a less stressful and more peaceful birthing experience. Home births can be less intervention focused and more natural based. Some strategies for reducing pain and enhancing coping in labor include movement, massage, meditation, hydrotherapy. At home, women can do these with ease. Ashley Treggeth, a behavioral psychologist and a doula, which is a trained childbirth professional, gave a speech titled, "Who Delivered Your Baby?" And she said, pregnancy is miraculous. Women's bodies grow and change, and they get to eat all the ice cream they want with no shame. It's downright amazing that a woman's body knows how to grow a baby. But somehow, when it comes to giving birth to that baby, our society no longer trusts women. Instead, we insist that an expert take control and deliver that baby. I want to share with you experiences of women who took control of their birthing experience and share why they had birth at home.
That was probably the biggest reason why I wanted to do a home birth, was because I wanted food after delivery.
And it was so sweet. I just loved that moment and not having to be rushed, not having to be told what to do. My midwife was just there. She just let us hold her.
And being in the presence of your home, if you have that ability and desire, the whole process felt so sweet. Tori was just in the comfort of a freshly made bed with her sweet new baby and with family around, and it felt very redemptive and very sweet.
As at home, I was progressing at the pace that my body was progressing, and there was no one telling me I needed to go quicker or slower or faster.
I gave birth in my tub, and then from there I just walked over to our bed, and it was the best feeling after giving birth to just be able to fall asleep in my own bed and to be in the comfort of our own home.
I love these perspectives of accomplishment and empowerment rather than pain and suffering. A few weeks ago, my sister and I were watching a documentary titled "Why Not Home?" And it was about why doctors and nurses choose to get home births. have birth at home. My sister's roommate walked in and she was like, home birth? I would never do that. And then she proceeded to make lunch in the room right next to us, and she's listening, and after about 20 minutes goes by, she was like, maybe not for my first birth, but maybe my second or third, I'd consider a home birth. Her perspective totally shifted once she learned more about home birth and became more aware. I want to bring awareness to home births. I've created this web page, feel free to scan the QR code, that has helpful and eye-opening resources that can learn a little bit more about home births. But bring it up with those who are pregnant and ask them if they've ever considered a home birth. This way, they can look into this and maybe not decide just to go to a hospital because that's what everyone else does. Home birth is not for everyone, but it should be considered when a mom is making a decision of where she wants to give birth. Ask yourself, what do you want your birthing experience to look like? Pick the environment that will give you the best shot of having that experience. And ask yourself, why not home? Thank you.